I'm going to show you one exercise that really changed the way that I view the fretboard. For years I was stuck in the classic pentatonic boxes, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I was always searching for a different answer, a different way to play the lines that I could hear in my head or that I heard other people playing. I wanted to have complete freedom over the fretboard, and I wasn't sure how to go about it. I was always trying to work out how to get from this position to this position to this position. This exercise transcended that, and it really made me look at the fretboard differently and improvise in a completely different way. It opened up so many different avenues in creating licks and also creating lines, and also just gave me a lot more confidence on the fretboard. Now, a lot of people talk about knowing where all the root notes are on the fretboard, and that's great, but it can be really boring to go through your whole fretboard and find where all the C notes are. And then where all the A notes are. It's really quite unmusical, and it's a really clinical way of doing it. So with this exercise I'm going to show you, you start to understand where all those root notes are, but also how to incorporate it in quite a musical way. So there's different layers to this exercise, but the first step is taking one simple lick and being able to play it all over the fretboard without even thinking about scales. So this is going to be the simple lick that we'll work with. It's in the key of C minor, starting on the root note, hitting the minor third, perfect fourth, sliding from the flat 5 to the 5th, and then doing the opposite, flat 5 to the 4th, then the minor third, and then the root note. So what I want you to do is try and find different ways to play that. So this is one position. This is another way. This is another way. Here's another way. Here's another way, all on one string. Let's take it up the octave. Let's play it on the B string. Let's start on the G and include 2 strings. So you can see I'm learning where the root notes are. And I'm also understanding the relationship between the root note, the minor third, the perfect fourth, the flat 5, and the perfect 5th. That's all in relation to one starting point. So whether or not you play the lick on one string and finish in a different spot, or you play it on 3 strings, it's really giving you quite a different look to learning scale shapes. Now the second layer to that is working out how you want to phrase it, whether you play it with legato, whether you create some shorter notes, whether you bend into the notes, whether you slide into the notes, right? Those kinds of things really are taken for granted when we're trying to create licks or come up with ideas. So that's the second layer. So let's take another lick. Let's take a lick with a little bit more range in it. This is what it might sound like. So I can play that all over the fretboard. Check it out. That's an octave above. Let's take it from the E string now. Let's see if we can do it an octave higher. I've ran out of frets, but you see my point is that it can really test you. Let's try it in a really sort of awkward spot. What about here? So there, I'm really getting a different look that no scale shape can really show you. And it can open up your ears and eyes to some different ideas. The third layer would be to take it into a different key. So let's take that first lick and let's take it in, let's say G. So I'm taking the same interval structure and changing keys. So it really tests your root note knowledge, really tests your musical memory from the lick, as well as your interval knowledge and the relationship between the root notes. So do the same thing but in a different key. Let's take it in, I don't know, let's take it in E flat. Right? Again, I'm able to do it instantly. It's like shifting your brain around to fit those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together nicely. So you don't have to stick to the minor pentatonic scale. You can use different scales. Let's say you take a nice little scale sequence. This is a really classic thing, potentially from John Petrucci. This is kind of what opened me up to this. Check it out. That idea is taking 6 notes and then just repeating it in the next octave. Next octave, and then I bent up to the root note. So that is the Aeolian scale, or the natural minor scale, and that's just taking the same idea up through the octaves. So you could do that on different string sets. So even though I had to play 6 notes on that last string, I'm able to do it. That's the whole idea. It's expanding your mind into visualizing the fretboard in a completely different way. So I hope you got something out of that. That exercise has really, really helped me. It's endless. It's not one of those things that you just master. It really does take time, and you can expand it in your own way and make it your own, and really, really spend the time with working out where those licks are, or where those ideas, or where those intervals are, or one step further back where the root notes are is where you have to start, and work that out on the fretboard and have fun with it. Thanks guys, I'll see you on the next one.